to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. This is episode 85. It's the third of 3 episodes recorded at the 2018 California Craft Beer Summit. In this episode, we're going to have 3 different segments. The other 2 episodes, if you haven't checked them out, you absolutely should, by the way. The other ones had 2 segments. This one has 3 segments to close it out. In the first segment, we're talking to Scott Williams, one of the owners at Moksa Brewing, as well as Delayna Fitzgerald, who's in charge of coordinating events at Drake's at the Barn, which is opening in Sacramento very soon. And then in the second segment, we're talking to Stan Brown, the director of sales at Barnum Mechanical. You'll find out who they are, but they've worked with a lot of the biggest breweries in America that aren't macro breweries. A lot of history there. And also Will Fox, the head brewer at Pacific Island Beer Company. And that's going to be a new brewer out of the LA area. So we'll hear about Pacific Island Beer Company's foundation and also how not going with a leading mechanical company can affect your business. And then in our final segment, we're talking to Jason VerHoef, territory sales manager at BioGill, and Kevin Martino, the chef and owner of Chef Kev's Specialty Foods. We're going to talk about waste management and also the num-nums you eat while you're drinking your beers. So something that we really don't talk about much, or don't even really think much about when it comes to beer. This has been, as always, a blast recording these episodes and these recordings with these guys. I really urge you, if you haven't listened to the other ones before, please do it. A lot of great people there as well. Before I let you go, I just want to let you know that you can buy Barley and Me t-shirts at zenthreads.com. That's zen-threads.com. The logo for this podcast was created by Jessica Demesio, and the intro music is called Jam Rock by the artist Breeze, B-R-E-E-Z. They've been doing great work this whole time. Love them very much. Anyway, and without further ado, let's get into episode 85 of Barley and Me. Thanks so much for listening, and get home safe. Welcome back to Barley and Me. It's Ben Rice, the host again, and now we're sitting down with Scott Williams from Moksa Brewing. Welcome.
Thanks.
Former guest of the podcast. And also with us now with Drake's Barn in Sacramento, it's Delayna Fitzgerald. Yep. Also a former guest of the podcast on the Art of Beer back in the day.
Uh-huh.
So, guys, how's it going? How are you enjoying the summit?
Well, this is my first day and actually my first time at the summit.
Oh.
And kind of having excitement panic attacks because I'm just so excited about all the activations that they have here and all of the people that just care about beer. So I'm stoked.
Have you learned anything super important yet?
Super important, not yet. I need to sit on a panel still. I'm new to the beer industry, but feel super welcomed, and I'm super excited to be here. So,
this is year 4 for me, and day 2. And even though I'm in the brewing industry, I still geek out. I mean, Tommy Arthur's standing 25 feet away from Lost Abbey, and talked to Ken Grossman yesterday from Sierra Nevada,
Ooh.
which is always a treat. And Charlie Bamforth's running around here today somewhere, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, if you're a beer nerd, this is like celebrity. Like it's like going to like the Hall of Fame and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know how you meet celebrities. I think just on the street generally.
right?
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's if you're a beer nerd, this is where you go to meet your idols and then kill them. In your mind, not literally.
Yeah.
We don't do that. Hopefully, most people don't.
Right.
I found.
Well, this year's a little different for me because now I have guys that I know that have been in the industry, and they're like, we've had your beer and it's really good. And I'm like, looking over my shoulder like, oh, you must be talking to somebody else.
Yeah, so you both are kind of new to the beer industry. You've always been adjacent for a while.
Right. Yes, correct. I'll let you go first.
Let's see. I was 12 years or so as a home brewer, very involved in the homebrew clubs, very involved in the Sacramento beer scene and all the different beer bars and everywhere else, going to every event, every bottle release, every can release. And now I'm on the other side. I'm managing the can releases and the bottle releases and dealing with the insanity of having 250 people standing in line in front of your brewery at,
Wow.
6 a.m, bringing in porta potties and stuff like that. So just to maintain a little bit of crowd control.
That's super exciting. Yeah.
It is. It's been very, very fun.
Are you ready for that?
I think I'm ready for that. So my background, I was an agriculture major in school, always have been super connected, just like food and beverage. Ended up being heavily involved in the farm to fork scene in the event planning side, communication side, planned the farm to fork festival, Tower Bridge dinner, all of that stuff. and then stepped away for a little while to work in events in the political scene, and was like, wait, this is way too far out of where my passions lie. So ended up back with Drake's Brewing Company here in Sacramento, in like perfect timing that we were about to open Drake's at the Barn in West Sacramento, and could not be more excited and feel more welcomed. And when your first day is learning about beer and you're just like, oh, all the knowledge, and you're just like so excited and you feel like you're in the right place, it feels really good. So I'm super stoked. I'm the events manager out at the barn, and it is my job to make sure that I complement all of our good beer with good experiences. So couldn't be more excited for that.
Yeah, and you grew up in Chico, so you know beer.
Yeah. Sierra Nevada.
You fall into it, you're there.
Absolutely. Home. Absolutely. So I've always been super interested in food and food science, and then don't know why I didn't get into this sooner, to be honest with you. I'm like I'm so geeking out right now. I can't even tell you like how excited I am.
Yeah. And so what has been the like biggest thing you've learned since you've come on with Drake's that you didn't really know about the industry?
Honestly, I'd have to say it should have been a given, but one of the biggest things I learned was community. The community is just overwhelmingly welcoming and is like unlike anything I've ever seen. They want their employees to be happy, and so that, happy employees, happy beer, and that's probably one of the things I'm still not over yet, is just how welcoming the craft beer industry is and how much everyone's just so excited to share, and it's great. Yeah.
Scott, what about for you?
I mean, yeah, the community of craft beer is amazing, because I came from the automotive industry where, we're out to kill the next door neighbor. I mean, we have two breweries, a couple miles away. We have Moksa, a little bit to the south, and then we have Out of Bounds a little bit to the east, both of which are within a couple miles of us. And you'd think that that's like competition, but we're friends.
Yeah.
We make beers together. We drink beers together. We hang out. When we see each other, we like shake hands, and we're actually like excited to see each other, not just that fake, there you are, how you doing type stuff. It's all fun. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's just amazing, the community of the craft beer industry. It's like you would think your nearest brewery would be like your worst enemy, and they're actually like your best friend. If I ran out of something, Out of Bounds would give it to me if I needed it, and vice versa. If they needed something, we would gladly do it for them.
Yeah, and I know the last time we talked, Scott, there was talk of expanding already because of how the response has been to Moksa since it's opened.
We're talking to some folks today. This is still a work day for us, even though we're walking around drinking beer at 11:30, 12 o'clock, and socializing a lot. But we are talking to some tank manufacturers today and some grain handling people, and we're getting a little bit of business done today. We need to look at some better usage of what we're doing in our space we have available to us to up our production. We're in a great position right now with. We can't make enough beer. We have demand far beyond what we can produce, which is good. I would like to fill more of that market with our beer. That would be even more amazing. But it's good to know that people are excited. We have a beer on today at the Sacramento Brewers Guild booth, and it's called Juice Traveler. We made that with Great Notion, and there's a line for it. And this is a room full of brewers and stuff. They don't stand in line for beer.
Yeah. Well, you combine one of the hottest brewers in Oregon with one of the hottest brewers in California. I mean, people are going to be like, I want to know what they did together.
Exactly.
Because you both find a way to kind of sell it as something different from a normal beer. Like you do a lot of adjunct stouts. They do a lot of adjunct everything.
Yes.
And so everything you say, it's going to give you a reminder of this thing. And then it is exactly what you say it's going to be. So when you have both of them kind of collaborating on what's a flavor we've never created before, that's going to be a hot ticket.
Kind of makes me feel bad. We just brewed like a regular, like hazy IPA with them, but we wanted to do something we were both good at, we both could collaborate on. Metro from Great Notion came down, was there for the brew day. actually physically made the beer.
Yeah.
And that's such a cool thing to have another brewery come down and we do the same thing. We just went to Alvarado Street and made a beer with them. And we have a bunch more collaborations lined up for the next few months between now and the end of the year that are just, it's with amazing people that are already in the industry that have a long track record in the industry and they have a good following. So
yeah, and it feels really good. It's like a way to get back into that market that maybe you weren't in before.
Yeah.
While also showing, hey, these guys respect what we're doing. Maybe you should also come check us out.
For sure. For us, it's, being the new kid on the block, it's name recognition for us. And when we can make a beer with Modern Times, and Modern Times is like, well, you need to make sure that at least this many kegs make it down to the San Diego market so our customers can get some too. It's like, yeah, we want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when it comes to like event planning, like what kind of organization does that take?
A lot of organization.
Yeah. It's so much.
It's the little things that matter, like the generators and chairs that people like to forget about. But when you do have great beer, like what Scott was saying, people do want to show up for that. And so I think that kind of just matching your crowd and thinking outside of the box and what's going to showcase what you already have, while also making the experience something special. And it's super cool that I get the opportunity to pair experiences with food. It's something that's really hard to explain how excited that makes me, but it's just I'm all about community.
Yeah.
And having a chance to bring people together, I think that's what I'm good at. And so the planning process is difficult. Sometimes when you're sitting down and you're emailing a bunch of people and you haven't met them yet and you don't know what's on the other side, it can be daunting. But then the day comes, you're like, woo, all the stuff that I've been putting together this whole time finally comes together.
It's like magic.
Yeah, it's a very rewarding feeling to just have everything put together. And of course, with events, there's always a fire somewhere that you have to put out. So being prepared and staffed for that and ready to roll with the punches, find a plan B in a second, that's the nature of the game.
Yeah, learn from it to prevent it in the future.
Exactly. Yep. So because we're opening the barn for the first time under Drake's this year, I think we are going to have a lot of learning, but I think we were also strategic in that way to where we haven't completely built out all of the space that we own. We own about 4 acres, and we're kind of going to see how the people want to utilize it and see what they do, where they want to go, ask them what they want, and, over the next couple of years, see how that really shakes out.
Yeah. Is it a build out, or is it kind of keep it as is so it can be a free flowing form, or that kind of thing?
Where the structure is of the barn. So it's in West Sacramento. It's this really cool looking structure. If you haven't seen it, I would look it up. It's really phenomenal. But there are 2 different pods on either side of the structure. And one of them is going to be a restaurant. So be a restaurant that holds about 60 people. And then the other one we'll roll out later, which is going to be a spirits room. So this is the first time we'll have like actual spirits. We're going to have an outdoor tap room where we'll be serving Drake's beer. And we've got a lot of cool things I think we're trying to roll out as far as like the food and beer side of things go. And it's going to be great for this market just because we do have a high demand here in Sacramento for Drake's. And so now we kind of have another place where people can go and get something on tap. And also we will be brewing out of Drake's as well at the barn. So super stoked on that. We'll hopefully have some specialty rollouts here and there.
I kind of like talking to you guys both about this, where Scott gets into collaborations, you get into it. Because I like the idea of breaking bread in different ways. So for Delayna, it's breaking bread with the community of West Sacramento
Correct.
region, and your brewery and food and how that goes into community and how it all mixes in. And then for Scott, it's collaborations with breweries and how you break bread with your fellow brewers and brewery owners and operators.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You walk around and, everybody's just... They're in the community. They're in that brewing community, and it's it's all accepting because I felt very welcomed when I was just a home brewer. It's not like you can because you're in the community. You're brewing beer. You're going to events. You're showing up. You're supporting their businesses, and they're generally appreciative of having you.
Yes.
as not only just a customer, but as somebody that shares the passion.
Yeah. And I think we should wrap it up. You guys have places to go, people to see. So a couple quick questions. Delayna, do we have an opening date for the barn at this point in time?
I cannot give you a set date, but I will tell you it is October. We will officially be opening. We're going to do a slow rollout, and we'll have a grand opening celebration, and I would look out for that at some point in the middle of October.
And are there any events already set in stone? We're absolutely doing these events?
Yes, they're happening. They're so happening. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Any exciting ones you want to announce real quick?
I have a couple that we're still in the process of figuring that out, but I think the grand opening is going to be something you want to see. We're going to have some food trucks out there, live music on a regular basis. So if you love live music and you love great beer and food and just community, the barn's the place.
Absolutely. And Scott, what about you guys over at Moksa?
Saturday the 15th, double can release, which includes Juice Traveler that we did with Great Notion. And then another bottle release before the end of the month of a Mexican-inspired stout.
Oh, really?
That'll be there's only 400 bottles available with, I think, a 2-bottle per person limit. So, sorry for the short supply, but we made the most we could make of that beer.
Well, on the plus side, to make up for the short supply, you have the long line, which will be nice.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. We appreciate the lines. It's a lot to manage and handle early on a Saturday morning, but we appreciate the people, and we like to make sure that when they come in, they've got some good beer to drink, and hopefully a good food truck will show up and won't break down, and we'll be ready to go.
Awesome. Scott Williams from Moksa Brewing, thank you so much. Delayna Fitzgerald from Drake's, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, have fun out there. Get out of here.
Bye.
Welcome back to Barley Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. We're here right now with Stan Brown, the Director of Sales at Barnum Mechanical.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, so good. Thanks so much for coming on. I know it's been a few years we've been working on getting together on this.
Good thing you came and got me this time.
Yeah. And then I was like, I got one time for one more. I'm going to get them.
All right.
And then also with us is Will Fox, the head brewer at Pacific Island Beer Company.
Aloha.
So, Will, tell me a little bit about yourself, your history, and your brewery.
So, both my parents are born and raised in Hawaii. So, I can't say 100% Hawaiian, but, we're right up there. And so I started homebrewing maybe 8 or 9 years ago. My uncle approached me, who is also Hawaiian, and said, "Hey, let's open up a brewery. I got a plan. It's the name I want to come up with is Pacific Islander Beer Company." I said, "Sounds good to me." So I started brewing, like I said, 8 or 9 years ago, and learned under his name's Lars Gilman, really fucking cool dude, and he started brewing with Stone, actually, back in the day when there were where Pete's Port is now. Yeah, same, back when they were that small.
Yeah, so now you could have a worse teacher. Probably.
Yeah, I could have a worse teacher, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of taught me how to do everything, kind of brew, and I studied under him for a few years, and then we opened up our own brewery.
And how long have you guys been open now?
We've been open for 3 years now.
Nice.
Yeah. We're open in Santee, so we kind of call it our little Islander paradise, and Santee.
And then Stan, what about Barnum Mechanical? I'm sure you guys have only been open a few years.
Yeah, I've actually been with Barnum. I just now am starting my 18th year with them. I've been in process for almost 30. I'm a home brewer, so working for a company that does a lot with breweries was just like a real prize for us. But we do design, build, engineering, automation, as well as parts and pieces, small fabrication, and a number of us have a history that's associated with the brewing industry, so we actually understand brewing. We've been through the training at the MBA courses at Davis. One of our engineers came from 21st Amendment. We're more than just somebody trying to sell people something. We actually know the process and understand what it does, and it's been a great gig.
Yeah, you're really one of the more well-respected build-out crews around,
Well,
honestly.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I talked to a few people because I remember talking to you guys a couple years ago and kind of getting the story. Then I kind of asked around because that's what I do, to verify information. And honestly, your reputation precedes you like everywhere you go.
We try. I mean, our goal is to come in with a bid that represents everything, so we're not doing a lot of change orders unless the end user decides to make changes, and we stand behind everything we do.
It's good if you understand the culture
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know.
and we actually know the brewing process. So
Yeah, that's a
we're
huge
not-
plus.
Yeah, we're just not connecting this to there and going, okay, we did that. There you
Yeah,
go.
Right,
you know
right.
what needs to go in between those things,
Yeah, we
so you
know
can
why,
account for that.
Why, we understand knockout. Why,
Right.
How quickly do you want to do knockout? When you add in your hops to it.
It's a huge plus
Yeah,
for sure.
Transfer. Okay, we're transferring. Okay, we don't want any air in it now at this point. So what kind of pump are we using? What kind of seal are we using? Are we going to a separator? Are you just going through filtration? Or just waiting for the bright process to happen before you go to your bottling and just accepting whatever, chill haze you end up with? It's just part of it. So it's been real good. We were very lucky as a company in that the owner of the company got a phone call from some guy named Ken Grossman.
Don't know.
Never heard of him.
Many
No.
years ago, who just asked Tom Barnum to come up and take a look at some of the stuff he had, and maybe he could, answer some questions
From a
about how to do
legend.
this. And so when he started the actual real brewery in Chico without the barn, he called us on the phone and just told Tom, he said, "You treated me well. Can you come up and I want you to build a brewery for me?" So our relationship with him goes back a long, long ways, and we've worked with Lagunitas and Stone, and a lot. Russian River right now, we're right about to wrap up their expansion. It's been a great experience, and I love it. I love beer people.
Yeah. You'd be a fool not to reach out to you guys.
I get to ask the brewers, like, how do you do this? What did you do to get that flavor? How did you get the hop aroma? Tell me,
Yeah.
So it's great for the home brewing, side of me as well. Which
Yeah.
I'm not going to claim I'm the best home brewer. I've had to dump a few out because
It happens at the commercial level too.
acetaldehyde, like, I don't like green apple.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you just turn that into a cider. You just get out of that.
No, man, I'm not going there.
You just change the name. That's what I do.
You
It's not-
change the name.
Yeah, I turned it compost. Did you say compost?
Yes, right. A lot of that. Dirty water.
Yeah.
Waste. Whatever.
How it swells good.
Yeah. Yeah, so if there's like a Mount Rushmore of beer, you guys are kind of the construct behind that.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, it's
Chiseling
been-
it out.
It's been a great gig.
Well, as far as like your build out, how did that go for you guys when you were creating your brewery?
We did a lot of the build outs ourselves, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. So
It's becoming more and more common in the beer industry.
yeah, it's we I feel that you can get a lot more personal touch with that. You can hire somebody to do the build out for you, but you can kind of tell them the idea you have, but it's not going to have the same personal touch, heart, and feel that it does unless you build it out yourself. We actually our building was a office building.
Oh, okay.
So we just totally demolished everything.
You have to.
Yeah, demolished everything and kind of made it our own touch. And so we have a really big outdoor area that's we have lifeguard chairs in. So it's kind of it's funny. You go back to being a little kid. You're out there. You're sitting out there in the lifeguard chair with a beer and you see people just swinging their legs back and forth. It's like a little kid type kind of thing. It's just a lot of fun. It's really awesome.
Yeah. Plus, you have a tremendous amount of sweat equity into your operation.
Tremendous amount of sweat equity. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our theme was when we opened up is that I said that I don't want to have a bunch of individual tables, so we made long tables. That were
That beer hall style.
beer hall style. Exactly. That where you got to meet people that you were neighbors with, but you didn't even know your neighbors were.
Yeah.
And so we've had so many people that have so if it wasn't for your brewery, I wouldn't know that I had this neighbor. And now we come here, 3 times a week, have a beer, and we're best friends now. And so it's really created a sense of community, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's amazing what beer can do. And
It's
so
awesome.
like as a brewer at Pacific Island Beer Company, what are you looking for as far as your styles, what you're pushing to your community?
My styles is just I'm very diverse in my style. You know, I kind of brew. I know everyone says this, but I kind of brew what I like to drink. You know, and so I brew anything from a light blonde ale to a heavy, imperial stout that's 11.5-12%. You know, and anything in between. You know, I like all kinds of different styles, and so I kind of brew that so that we can have a group of people come in and they can each have a style that they like to drink.
And what was your first beer love as far as a style of beer that you couldn't get enough of when you just started being introduced to beer?
Probably a red ale, actually. I love RedHoef.
Malty sweet, yeah.
Yeah, malty sweet. I love
that ESB from RedHoef?
ESB from RedHoef, a little bitter, but not quite a red ale, but a little bitter. But, I kind of love that kind of style. And, I quickly got into IPAs, which, that kind of rules craft beer, But I still love West Coast style IPAs, even more than
the current climate.
New England style IPAs. I still would prefer a West Coast style IPA. Not to say that New England style IPA is bad. I love some of them, and I love what they represent. It's a great it's a great tool for getting people to come into IPAs.
Oh, 100%.
So I love it. I still prefer a West Coast style.
Yeah. And Sam, what about yourself? What brought you into the beer community?
Well, I brewed when I was much younger, but back then the main focus was how much alcohol can we get in it, and how much buzz can we get out of the bottle. Flavor was really kind of secondary, and in retrospect, it was pretty crappy beer.
Nice and chewy.
Yeah, but the red ales. And to date myself, the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale to me was just like, oh my God, I can buy this every time I go out there. Are you kidding me?
Still classic.
I don't think
that's still something you can drink.
I feel like even 22-year-olds now getting into beer, they're tasting that.
Well, I had somebody refer to it as their father's beer. It's like, no.
That is the downside.
You can just still drink that though.
Yeah. And as
that's
far
so
as
weird to think.
As far as I like a really good stout. Love a good stout. But I'm also a fan of session ales. I like, have some beers that you can drink 2 or 3 of them
now
without.
That you're older, not so wild.
Yeah, I need to take a nap.
Because this is a completely audio podcast. Stan is 33 years old.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're so kind. Yes, thank you.
Fuck, I'm old.
Yeah. I remember 33. I remember 33.
Really?
Yeah.
Even I don't. And I'm only 36. I'm like, I have no idea what that was.
Right. Yeah, well, I remember just as a number. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all kinds of beers. I'm intrigued by the different takes that the different brewers take on it and the ingredients that they add. Some of them are really interesting. Other ones, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's not a favorite of mine, but okay.
What the hell are you trying to do here?
Yeah, yeah, but I really appreciate the exploratory nature of brewing right now, to where people are going way outside the box.
Yeah.
And we're just not getting beer.
Yeah.
Here's a beer.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So that's pretty cool.
So, over the years, as beer styles and preferences have changed, has beer brewery design changed as well?
No, the automation has kicked in. And it typically tend to see the breweries as they start to get larger. That's when they start to put the automation in, because I think they come to the point to where they don't make money fixing things and opening and closing valves and turning things on and off. They make money by getting product out the door, so that's kind of the focus on it. It does put pressure on the creativity side of it, but when you get a large brewery, the last thing you want to do is take down a whole portion of the brewery because a valve failed or a pump seal failed or just something that is not an expensive part, but it just costs you
the time.
Yeah. And maybe you have product going all over the floor because, oh my God, do you have one of these kind of deals? I've gotten those calls a number of times. Sometimes we can help, and other times it's like, dude, you want UPS Saturday red delivery, or what do you want here? Because we got to make a decision really quick because it's 4:00 in the afternoon and everybody's closing.
Yeah.
But overall, the basic brewery equipment, No, it's the same. You brew kettle mash on Lauder to brew kettle to Whirlpool to the fermenter to Bright.
Has there been like a tightening up where it's kind of like in less space do the same thing or anything like that?
Oh, well, some breweries manage to get a lot in less space. I mean, I've seen some so crammed around that they're literally crawling around in between the tanks and underneath them.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the technology, I mean, the CIP technology has gotten better. The brew kettles have become more efficient. You know, the knockdown and the chilling, avoiding the temperature is getting to be better and more efficient on that way. But it's more about efficiency. It really is really where it's at, and the efficiency gives the brewer consistency, because that's really what most breweries want. Is they don't want their pale ale this week to taste completely different than the pale ale that the guy bought, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I mean, they want when somebody buys their beer, they want to be rest assured that the customer knows he's going to get what he liked, and that's why he's buying it again. He's not looking for a surprise every time he buys something in a label,
Yeah. And then, so do you have any advice over the years of experience that you have for a new brewery opening up as far as like design things they may not have thought about?
Standardize on valves. Find one manufacturer. No, I wasn't talking to you. Yeah. Find one manufacturer that you can get spare parts from. Standardize on types of pumps, because you're not having to deal with 5 or 6 different people to find parts. Maintain some records on what you bought, when you bought it, what it was, so that when you do need to do something on it, it's not just a mad dash like, oh my God, I don't know. This is what it says on the side of it. Can you help me? But in general, and also think ahead. This is what you want to do right now. Where do you want to be in 6 months or a year? Because oftentimes, how you size things now can save you money when you expand. You size it right now for the size that you're doing, and then a year from now you add, fermenters and bright tanks that are twice the volume as what you have, and now your pumps don't work. You can't CIP, you don't get good CIP, or it takes you twice as long. You don't have enough heat exchange to where you can't get your knockout without having somebody just stand there for twice as long trying to get it out of there. Those are just things, and oftentimes the increase in cost up front is incremental than having to just buy a whole new piece of equipment. So that would be
just me chime in. I agree with that.
Oh, thank you.
If you cheap out to begin with, you're going to end up spending twice as much.
Yeah, there's a reason that inexpensive items used in this industry are inexpensive. I mean, there's a reason for that. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Now that's not to say that there are not some manufacturers that you're paying for the name.
Right.
I'm not going to deny that, but there is the middle ground where there's people that make a quality product at a fair price, and it's worthy of looking at.
Yeah.
Taking a look at.
That ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you found that to be true as also?
Yes, for sure.
Did you don't have to answer this question if you don't feel comfortable. Were there any things where you're like, I wish I had done this differently when I was starting out?
Absolutely.
Like, what kind of things would that be?
There are certain things where we have kind of bought where it's cheaper. Like you were saying, that I wish we would just spend twice the money, because now we're spending twice the money anyways. And so
you can pay me now, or you can pay me later.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I wish that we would have you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
That's simple. It's a simple fact in life. You get what you pay for.
Yeah. And you've been in business for about 3 years now. Have you noticed that? Have you done an expansion already? Did you start out with one size? And
we haven't. We've had to replace all of our pumps that we have originally bought with the brew house. We have had to replace all of them. And so we went cheap. We should have spent twice the money, and we would have in the long run we would have spent less. So it's insane.
But now going forward, it's going to be more of a return on investment, less expense out in the future,
right?
Which is going to be great. What size are you guys right now?
We're a 10-barrel brew house with 20-barrel fermenters.
Nice.
And so, which I would think is pretty standard in San Diego now, is 10-barrel brew house. But and I would have definitely spent more up front than I had to now.
And so I think we have to close out of here for some reason. So just a couple quick questions here. Where can people find out more about you on the internet, on social media, things like that?
So we're at PacificIslanderBeerCompany.com or just PIB Beer.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're kind of just in San Diego, hyper local,
which is the new movement for beer.
It's the new movement. Yeah, it is.
As far as because you can't really get the distro channels. Nobody cares anymore.
Nope.
I got a better beer down the street. Why would I go to the store and buy yours?
Yeah.
Which
so
is
we're hyper local now. So.
awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and you can find us at Barnum, like the circus, and believe me, sometimes it is just like the circus. Mech, M-E-C-H, which is short for mechanical.com. I'm on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're on all the usual suspects for getting a hold of us. And if you can't find that, just keep asking enough people in the brewery, and somebody will go, oh, yeah, here's how to get a hold of them.
All right, excellent. So Stan Brown from Barnum Mechanical, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Will Fox from Pacific Island Brewing, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
I just realized I should say this. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
All right.
Apologies. This has been episode whatever number I choose of Barley and Me. Thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, cheers,
Thank
gentlemen.
you very much. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, you. Do you love craft beer? Do you love craft beer brewed and bottled here in Northern California? Well, if you do, we got a magazine for you. ABV Magazine is the only local print publication covering Northern California's amazing craft beer and spirits community. Each issue features behind-the-bottle conversations, reviews, booze-based destinations, and a comprehensive guide to breweries, taprooms, bottle shops, and distilleries in Northern California. You can sign up for only $1 a month and have each issue delivered right to your front door. Check it out at abvmagazine.com. And from all of us here at ABV Magazine, cheers and thanks for supporting local craft beer. That's abvmagazine.com, alcohol by volume.
Welcome back to Barley and Me. We're talking now with Jason VerHoef, of the Territory Sales Manager at BioGill.
Hey, how's it going?
And also Kevin Martino, the chef and owner of Chef Kev's Specialty Foods.
Hello, how are you doing?
So we'll start with you, Kevin. So tell me about yourself and about your business.
Well, I'm Kevin with Chef Kev's Specialty Foods, and I have a local home business, cottage food, and I've been specializing in selling to local breweries. I'm in Ale Industries, Automobile Works, Armistice, Calicraft, Epidemic Ales, Five Sons, Morgan Territory, Novel Brewing Company, and Trappist, and Mike Keller in Oakland.
So what kind of things are you offering to these breweries?
I've been selling and making a salted peanut and a spicy peanut. I also make a Thai spicy peanut, which has a lemongrass and kaffir lime flavor. And they've all been pretty popular. I've had a lot of good feedbacks, and usually the breweries reorder every 2 weeks.
All right, perfect. And then, Jason, what do you guys do on your end over at BioGill? And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm with BioGill, which is a global wastewater treatment company. That's globally headquartered in Australia, and then our North American office is based in Milwaukee. And we offer wastewater treatment solutions, really in North America, focused on the craft brewing world. So we're working with breweries that it's a pretty water-intensive system. A lot of breweries generate anywhere between 3 to 12 gallons of wastewater for every gallon of beer.
That's nuts.
So, yeah, it's a lot.
You forget that every time.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, people really don't realize it's that much, but if you think about, the brewery, there's multiple tanks. The beer goes from, clean water to wort to beer to carbonation, and each one of those systems has to be cleaned. So each one of those systems is a multiplier on the beer production for wastewater. So what we do is we have a system that can take and clean that wastewater up before it goes into either a sewer or it gets sprayed on fields or it goes into a septic tank, whatever the case may be. So,
yeah, and people often forget how much that is. It's because even just pushing the wort through, you use additional water, and then where's that go? Yeah,
it's a very water-intensive process. So the wastewater generated in a brewery is very strong compared to domestic strength wastewater. What goes down the sinks or the toilets or the showers. So it can be very hard to deal with. And but craft breweries, even though they're generating a lot of wastewater, they're still a fairly small contribution compared to, say, a large meat or dairy processing plant. So what BioGill focuses really is on high strength wastewater, but wastewater that's a lot lower flow rate. So hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of gallons per day, which is the perfect niche for craft breweries that are, say 50,000 barrels a year or less. We really fit into that world really, really well.
So what would you say what's the process that helps to minimize that or clean it, or what processes do you use on that? Yeah,
so if you're a brewer and you have to worry about treating your wastewater, there's kind of three things that come into place. There's pH, there's solids in the wastewater, and then there's what's known as BOD or COD, which is basically a measure of how much organic material is in the wastewater that can break down. So they're kind of steps. If somebody has to do something, they typically start with having to do pH control. And that's simply putting a tank in, collecting all the wastewater, and then adding either acid or caustic, high or low pH chemicals to adjust it. Solids removal is also a fairly simple step. What that's doing is basically collecting the solids either in a settling tank where they settle out, or in some type of screen or filter so that you can remove the solids, physically take them out of the water. The challenge with a lot of the breweries is that they have to do the third step, which is the BOD or COD. This is organic material that's hard to remove. You can't necessarily add a chemical or put it through a filter to take care of it. The only way you can take care of it actually is with biological treatment. So you actually have bugs or bacteria, we call them bugs, and they eat the material in the water, and they create more bugs, and they die. And you have cleaner water because the bacteria is basically eating and taking the waste pollution out of the water. So that's where we come in, is that biological treatment step.
Okay.
So we're having a system that brewers can put in that's very small, it's very scalable, it's very modular, and it's very low cost compared to larger technologies for larger facilities. And it's scalable so that as they grow, these craft brewers are growing really well, they can grow with them. So we put our system in, it grows biology, it eats the bad stuff in the wastewater, and then what leaves is much cleaner.
Yeah, because if it stays in there, it's going to clog up tanks. You're going to get fines from the city, things like that.
There's a lot of things. I mean, wastewater treatment for the cities are very intensive processes. They have a lot of air they have to add. They have to add a lot of chemicals. So the wastewater strength is anywhere from 10 to 50 times stronger than what goes down into the sewer typically from a residential home. So it's a high volume of wastewater, and it's very, very strong as compared to a house. So it's a lot of money for them to treat it. So if it's a sewer system, in many cases, they may go to the brewery and start charging them money to treat their wastewater at the sewer. So it may be advantageous for a brewer to put in a pretreatment system so they pay little or no fees as compared to paying the city, thousands of dollars every month or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And then, Kevin, since we're talking about water, an important thing about eating peanuts is having some water to balance out that saltiness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty good pairing as far as that goes. So how do you feel about, how the beer industry and the snack industry kind of tie together?
Well, everyone loves a salty, spicy snack to go with their beer. If it's, football games, baseball games, local picnics, everyone enjoys a good snack.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's already kind of an entertainment thing you're doing. You're hanging out, having some snacks, drinking some beers, having a good time. So how did you get into the beer market initially?
Well, I was at the local beer festival in Martinez, and I did an event there at the beer festival, and then I got my first customer from there, and then I talked to different breweries, and different breweries recommended me to other breweries, and it went on from there.
Nice. So do you mainly deal in the nuts realm as far as that goes, or are there other services
I also make spicy peanut brittle and a spicy peanut butter, and I also make some cookies. You can find everything at chefkevfoods.com.
Nailed it.
And I'm just curious, from trying to tie it all together from the water perspective. Are you you have a facility that you're doing? Is this a home-based business, or are you doing it at a certain location?
It's a home base. There's a law that passed in 2013 called a cottage food operation.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of that, that lets me make non-perishable foods at home.
Okay.
And I got all the permits and everything.
Okay. So from the wastewater side, a lot of these brewers, they're generating most of this from cleaning everything out. So I'm guessing you're having to do daily or maybe multiple times a day, kind of clean everything down and all that kind of stuff too with your system. Is that, I'm guessing it's a big part of making good food is making sure everything's sanitized and cleaned well.
Oh yeah, I make sure everything is all sanitized and up to code.
Okay. Awesome.
So was breweries kind of your first, like, that's where I'm going to go, or did you try going another route to make this business successful first?
Well, I started out in, I sold to a local Italian deli and then a local Mexican market. And then I went into the different breweries from there.
And was there something that attracted you to the beer business?
I'm a home brewer myself. I've been brewing on and off since 1997.
So you knew salty and bitter kind of go together.
Yes, and I went to culinary school and I worked in different restaurants. So I know my way around food.
Yeah, is there any plan to expand beyond what you're doing, like get even more foodstuffs out there?
Hopefully in the future, maybe I'm looking that they'll probably need to get a commercial kitchen at some point, and then go from there.
Well, tell you what, when you get that commercial kitchen, if the city starts worrying about your wastewater because you're generating a lot because you're making so much stuff, you can go to www.biogill.com, BIOGILL. You can look at our wastewater solutions. We have a focus on brewers, but we work in food and beverage in general. So
awesome.
So think about it for the future.
Yeah,
I will. Thank you.
So anything you guys want to mention before we go?
Yeah, I just, from our end, we're working specifically in the craft brewing market here in America. We want brewers to know that our company, our technology is really specifically designed for the type of issue they have, which is low flow, high strength wastewater. We have a lot of stuff on our website that can help brewers out if they need to learn about wastewater treatment, whether it's our technology and what we do, but we are one piece of a wastewater treatment puzzle. So we have white papers and webinars and all kinds of things you can download on our website. We also have a calculator on our website, so you can go on our website, you can put some information in about your brewery if you are paying fees, and it can talk about paybacks and what you need to do. So yeah, just we just want to let the craft brewing world know that we're here. I think a lot of smaller brewers, guys doing less than 50,000 barrels a year, don't really think there's a good treatment solution for them, and that's where we come into play. Historically, there hasn't been a good treatment solution for them, but that's our focus and our niche. So yeah, BioGill. If you Google BioGill Brewery Wastewater, you can check us out and learn more about it.
And my goal is to be in as many breweries as I can. And I'm in 10 breweries so far, so hopefully I'll get more coming soon.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you can grow big enough that you need to look at BioGill.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Jason, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Wastewater, the most fun topic to talk about with food.
Yeah, exactly. And Chef Kev, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for appearing on Barley and Me.
All right, thank you for your time.
All right, thanks. Bye.